Good morning and welcome. Happy Monday. This is your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to start your day off well. And we had this card a while ago, and I was captivated by the questions on it. And so it's time to revisit them. Good morning, Abigail. Glad you are here. Welcome. Grab a drink here. So, hope you're all off to a good start today. Again, still pitch black here, but I was talking to somebody yesterday, might have been my coffee group in the morning, about, good morning, Jonelle, welcome, how I view what's happening outside at this point as a metaphor for what's happening within us. Good morning, Nancy. We were in the dark in many ways, and then the light begins to shine, and we notice some more things, and we're like, this is interesting. And our interaction with that dawning light brings more light. So for here, there's buildings around me, right? So when it first becomes dawn, it's lighter out there, but one still can't see the sun. And then given more time, all of a sudden I'll see the sun hit the smoke bush that's out in front of my window, and then everything is illuminated. So I kind of feel like that's the status of humanity right now, that we've been in the dark and light is dawning. Light is dawning. We're having awarenesses. We're figuring some things out, but the massive light is dawning. Good morning, Gwen. Welcome, welcome. Looking forward to seeing you and Carolyn today. That will be awesome. So, when the light dawns, all the work that we're doing every morning, all the things we think about, comments you all make, feedback I give, etc., is in service of bringing that light. Even on my computer screen, I've got a little sticky note that says, stay in the light, stay in the light. Not that periods in the darkness aren't valuable. It offers stillness and quiet and less stimulation, which can be very useful for going within and figuring out where next. What's my next best step? So, let us start with some breathing and some tapping. Good morning, everybody. Pick your spot for tapping. Nice deep breath in. Out. Breathing in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Wiggling your shoulders a little bit. I can feel the kinks in there. My brother is putting up drywall, and so I was helping carry a sheet of drywall in, and that stuff is heavy. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Just getting ready for your day. In through the nose. Casting off all fear. Allowing yourself to just be who you are. Be as real as you can be. Good morning, Carolyn. Thank you for all the fun stuff. Love the rainbow, love the hearts. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, our card for today comes from the Allowing Prayers deck by Siobhan Nash. And 57 invitations to spark a conversation with your soul. So, we're not doing that surface stuff. We're diving right to conversations with our soul. So there's two questions on here, and if one or more of you would be willing to type them into the feed, I would greatly appreciate it, because I think there are times when on Facebook, I know I do, we skim stuff. We skim stuff to see if there's anything of interest to us. And if something grabs our attention, piques our curiosity, then we might pause and open it up. So I think a lot of people see my stuff go past, but if there's nothing in the description or the feed that grabs their attention, they keep scrolling. So let's see what we can do in terms of bringing some more people on board with the light. So this is allow wandering. Allow wandering. I don't know if some of you remember we had this card a while ago, but allow wandering. So the first question is, what are you afraid of discovering if you allow yourself to wander outside the well-known parts of yourself? What are you afraid of discovering if you allow yourself to wander outside the well-known parts of yourself? So I'm just going to give that a minute for it to reverberate within you. Then I'll read it once more, and then I have an observation with that one. What are you afraid of discovering if you allow yourself to wander outside the well-known parts of yourself? Because I will say sometimes those well-known parts of yourself aren't really parts of yourself. It's facade you've manufactured to get through life more easily. So I'm reading this book, someone else's shoes, and the whole gist of the story is at the gym, these two women get their bags mixed up, and the one woman who's a middle class kind of woman in England ends up with the bag of a woman who's very rich, and when she puts on that woman's shoes, many things in her life begin to change. And so it's this masterful weaving of their life stories to a point where somewhere down the road here, I'm about halfway through, they're going to meet. I know they're going to meet, and it's going to be interesting to see how this comes together. But again, the one woman, the rich woman, came from very modest beginnings, and at 19 vowed that she was not going to go back to that. Now, through a series of events, she's been ousted from her rich life. Thank you so much for posting the first question. I appreciate it. And she's back to living in poverty. And one of my thoughts as I keep reading is, what is she meant to be learning here? What is she meant to be learning? So there's your first question. What are you afraid of discovering if you allow yourself to wander outside the well-known parts of yourself, especially the facade? What face do you present to the world that maybe really isn't you, the true you, but it's what you present to go along, to get by, to open doors, etc.? Oh, yeah, good. I think you're going to love it. Good morning, Angie. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Second question is, how might that discovery bring you closer? Thank you for posting it. I appreciate it. The more times it's in the feed, the better. Thank you for the sparkles. I love those little sparkles. For whatever reason, they remind me of the late 60s, early 70s. Those sparkles. I'm not sure why. Yeah. Second question, how might that discovery bring you closer to your true self? How might that discovery, what you find when you wander outside the well-known parts of yourself, bring you closer to your true self? And sometimes there's still I'm going to call them the hangers-on, the people who want things to stay the way they are and who are kind of appalled at people's true selves being presented. There's pros and cons to putting your true self out there, right? Then people really know who you are, what you stand for, etc., etc. Some people won't like the true self. They're not going to be excited about who you really are. They were much happier when you went along to get along. That's okay. Times are calling for our true self to be presented. Now, does that mean we become a total jerk? No, absolutely not. But it does mean we may put some words to things we might otherwise have just gone, all right. Midwest nice is going to change. It's going to go from going along to getting along and getting along to, I have an issue with that. Can we talk about this? I'm not sure I'm on board with this. I have some doubts. I have some questions. Thank you, Gwen. I appreciate it. How might that discovery bring you closer to your true self? Thank you, Abigail. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Good, good, good. I love that that's going to show up in the feed for people who are scanning on by to maybe stop, pull up short, go, ooh, that's an interesting question. I wonder what that's about. Wonder what that's about. So here we are, wondering what that's about. And taking a little deeper dive into who am I really? Who am I really? And what do I need to be doing differently in my life to allow who I am really to grow? To be, yes, things we talked about on Monday, yes. So again, Jonelle and I did another Common Ground conversation. Some of you have been following those vlogs. And yes, Rebecca Campbell is an amazing example of this. She cuts to the chase. She doesn't want to know your superficial self. My guess is if you had a conversation with her, she like me, we ain't going to be talking about the weather very long. Who are you? What makes you tick? What do you believe? What stirs your soul? That's where we're going. That's where we're going. And yeah, so more and more with my coffee group yesterday, we were talking about, we're going to be doing just for ourselves in my coffee group, a book club. And I believe that going through that process with people we believe we know really well, we're going to get very deep. We're going to know each other on a much deeper level than we already do. And we already know each other way beyond the hi, how are you stuff. So really looking forward to that too. So today, in this moment, this beautiful day that we've been given that will never repeat itself, what will you do to discover the real you? To discover the true self, the maybe unknown parts of yourself. The question, what are you pretending not to know about you? About you. Then take that, sit with it, hold it, savor it. There was a part in this process that Jonelle and I were talking about on the next Common Ground conversations, where you imagine holding another's heart in your hand, especially someone you're having difficulty with. You're holding their heart in your hand. Do you throw it to the pavement? Do you stomp on it? Or do you hold it lovingly, knowing that regardless of what's showing up on their surface, this is their heart and soul. You're holding it in your hand. I find that just wow to think about doing that. I think how I would say some things change, how I approach certain people will change. I just thought that was an amazing image to have in your mind when you're dealing with people in your life, all people in your life, but most definitely the people in your life who are difficult for you. So, on that note, I'm going to turn you all loose to go about your day. Keep your eyes open, your ears pricked up for opportunities to discover your true self. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.